Tom kindly helped me with, so thank you, Tom. He was right about the algorithm after 10 leads. It kind of goes a bit more crazy. Yesterday it did, once it hit 10, so well done, sir.
Hey, well done, mate. And congrats on keeping an ad going for that long.
Cheers.
And not getting...
Well, I stopped it a while ago and Adam said to get it going again. That was a good one. I did. I got my 9 and 10 and then it carried on. So yesterday it started doing really well.
Oh, that's really good. What kind of ad are you running at the moment? What picture are you using?
It's a camper van with some kind of sandal-esque feet dangling down the side. I was going to maybe tweak the picture. Quite a cool one. I like the picture. The headline I think was too bad. I've done sort of 4 or 5 lately. So that one was at I think £2.52 cost per lead. So I didn't get that one back up and running. So
yeah, that's really good. The picture sounds really cool as well. It's definitely something I'd stop on.
Yeah.
It is a cool picture. It's come down my feed and it's caught my eye. It is a cool picture.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah.
Excellent. Cheers, mate.
You had a different picture before on it, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a lovely dog actually. Because I thought it was aimed at first it was aimed at teachers and then it was aimed at female teachers and then I kind of quit that one and was aiming at more sort of entrepreneurial sales, marketing, online people. I've been aiming at Spain and Spain seems to be going really well at the moment. English speaking people in Spain. I'm guessing expats and teachers like that. So they're liking it. So I'm going to continue with that at the moment. And hopefully pick up more UK, but they seem to like it anyway.
I'd just keep what's working, mate. If Spain's working well for you at the moment, keep that. But yeah, it sounds like you're doing really good. Cool. It's that sticking with it, isn't it? Like you put an ad up and you expect kind of instant results straight away. So then you freak out and take it back down. And then you can just keep doing that for a while. And it's just kind of getting to a point where you realise, look, I need to keep an ad live for a period of time just so that it can kind of get into the algorithm, pick up some sort of momentum, and then it will kind of keep going and going.
I was kind of giving up after 2 or 3 days, and then I'll do a new one, and 2 or 3 days later do another one, and another one. Now
and you're not the only one.
No, I'm guilty.
Well, I think Tom said they sell £100, so I tried.
Yeah, even with me sat What'd you say, mate?
Sorry. I really need to get a light. I'm off to Chicago on Thursday morning.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I've been running around like a headless chicken trying to get everything sorted because I've got no tenant moving in. But yeah, I really need to get the light sorted because in my room now it looks really light, but everything doesn't on there.
Yeah. Do you know, actually, I don't know why mine's so light today. I haven't got my front light on.
You've always got good lighting, you two.
It's literally just like I think I've said before. I'm sure this little light was from like a charity shop. I'm
gonna head down there when I'm back.
Let me have a quick look. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's just like one of those little desk lights, so like retro-y looking ones.
I like that.
But because the there we go. Because it's got like the shade around the back. All the light like throws forward at you. There you go, top tip for the day.
There you go. Learn about lighting again.
Yeah, just on the kind of ads front though, mate. Tom had a call with, it was Ben, wasn't it, yesterday?
Yeah, Ben Stockford.
With Ben Stockford yesterday, and Ben's doing exactly the same. So it's like, don't feel like, I don't know, you've kind of gone the wrong way about it because everybody seems to do it. They put an ad up and then it does or doesn't get results and they freak out and take it back down, and they post another one and then they keep changing it. So it is the norm, but it's just kind of, it's your learning process as well. So when you bring new members in, you can say, look, just stick with it. And you can just keep expressing the importance of like sticking with it. So you have to go through it to learn as much as literally I would sit here going to Tom, just leave it, stop writing ads. And he's still like, no, but I've got a new one that I want to try. And I'll be like, Tom, stop.
I hear Tom there actually because I've got a lovely turtle picture I've been gagging to use for ages, but then Adam used one similar. That kind
Yeah.
of put me off a little bit. But I really am gagging to get that one going, so I might run a second one on that.
I think actually Ben ran a like turtle. Is he still running a turtle picture?
No, that was an ad from a couple of weeks ago.
But yeah, maybe like if people are using similar pictures to what's caught your eye, just pop them a message, like pop Adam, pop Ben a message, and just say, how did this picture like work for you? Because then at least you're getting kind of the knowledge and like results before you run that.
Yeah.
And you'll know if that kind of picture does perform kind of okay. So yeah, I definitely, if you see kind of any ads knocking around the community or whatever that are similar to ads you're thinking of running or have already ran, just kind of get in touch with people and just say, how's it working for you? I was thinking of doing this. And then at least you're gaining knowledge constantly from the people around you.
Excellent, thank you. Ali's one's really good. Have you seen the pig in the sea one?
Yes, yeah. Is that
amazing.
the Bahamas? So that is, or the Dominican Republic?
It's Pig Beach. I think it's in the.
It's such a good close up though, isn't it? Every time I've seen it loads of times, I keep stopping and looking at it still. I'm like, stop looking at that.
Yeah.
Great.
I was saying to someone the other day that I think animals are a really good sell. Like, I'm guaranteed to always stop on an animal picture. So,
I was going to try chocolate actually, because apparently if you can trigger people's like pleasure hormones or whatever you call them,
yeah.
they'll stop and look. So I thought a lot of people love chocolate. I love chocolate, and if I get, if I just see chocolate, I'm like, I feel good. So I was going to give that a try as well.
Yeah. Me and Tom have looked into like colour psychology a lot recently as well, so that would be quite interesting to look into. But colours like the blues and stuff of the sea, they're quite calming colours. So people are always like relaxed and calm when they're looking at your ad, because that's the first thing they've seen is that colour like blue on your picture. So as you kind of like, I don't know, I mean, we're looking into ads in like serious depth. At this point, you guys can just kind of like lean on your coaches. They'll be able to help you and advise you on pictures if you send them over. But yeah, when you guys kind of get more into it and you've been around the community a lot longer, things like that you'll start looking into and start kind of taking notice of a little bit more, I think.
All right. Good to know. Cheers.
That's okay. Jess, have you been running an ad?
I have, yeah.
How's it going?
It's gone all right. I don't know what happened, but like today, it just exploded everywhere.
Exploded in a good way?
Yeah, in a good way.
Do you know what your cost per lead is?
It's not great, but I have had a lot of people, rather than commenting on the post itself, just private messaging me.
Yeah.
And then I've just been sending them the link to get the leads that way as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So I've actually got leads that way rather than going through the Facebook itself.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. I mean, me and Tom have had this discussion many times. Obviously, you don't want to be spending like a ridiculous amount for one person to click your ad. But equally, if people are still clicking your ad, but it's like kind of like a £5 plus cost per lead, then like people are still clicking on your ad, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Tom's first 3 sign-ups all cost him, was it £7 or £8?
$7.28.
$7.28 per lead, which in terms of cost per lead is quite high. In fact, very high. Yeah. But equally, they all signed up. So it's kind of like, it's one of those situations where, yes, you don't want to be spending kind of too much per lead. But equally, like if you're getting leads, just try and kind of like split test the ad. So the ad you're using at the moment, are you targeting like men and women?
Well, I've got it. I had one for both.
Mm-hmm.
And then I split tested it for men only and split tested it for women only.
Yeah.
And only when I started split testing it did the original one start actually getting any leads on it.
Mm-hmm.
So the combined one started getting leads when you started split testing?
Yeah.
So did you have 3 ads running at the same time?
Yeah.
what it may have, did the original one stay live as you were setting up the other split tests?
Yeah.
Yeah, what it may have been then is the fact that it had been running longer, so the algorithm had got more used to the ad and what traffic it was sending it to.
Right. Because it was literally, I had that original one and it got nowhere. I spent quite a bit on it, and then I decided, it was literally that moment I thought, I'm going to stop the ad, just there and then. I thought, I'll split test it instead.
Mm-hmm.
So I went into split testing it for men and then women and set them all off at the same time, and just suddenly started getting leads to it.
Just a note for the future though, when you're split testing, don't hit the same audience with the split tests. So if you're targeting, so you say you had 3 ads running, one was to both men and women, one was to women, one was to men. You're gonna dilute your results almost, because the one that you're targeting with both, you're hitting like the same audience as you would be with your other tests. So in future, just make sure you keep your male and female separate if that's what you're testing. So you're hitting 2 markets instead of 1, so you can really identify what's better.
Yeah, I changed the sort of like age range for the male only and the female only compared to the original one, just to see if that sort of made a difference.
The only other advice I've got is just change like one thing at a time. Just like split test one thing. So maybe if you were to like turn off the one that's targeting men and women, and then do a separate men and a separate women, keep the age ranges of what you previously had, and then you'll be able to look at the results and see what age ranges within those categories are working. So then you can kind of split off and split test again. Just because if you're changing like a few things at once, you have no idea again what's really working. Just because like, say you split it off and you were targeting women age 22 to 45, and then in your split test you do like 22 to 34, for all you know, in the split test that 34 to 45 could have performed really, really well, but you've automatically like cut it off.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like, personally, if you do men and women, I'd split to men or women, or kind of split and do them both.
Yeah.
Usually I tend to find kind of if you leave it running for like an extra day, you'll get like an extra woman or an extra man. So I'll just kind of go with the one that's got more. And then run that for the same ages as what you were previously targeting. And then after you've got a few leads come in, look at your cost per lead, look at kind of whether you want to split test it again, and then do the ages then. That's personally how I do it, just so that you know exactly what is and what isn't working.
Yeah. It's like I don't know if you've got the page manager?
Uh-huh.
I've found the Facebook advert manager app.
Yes. Is it working very well for you?
Yeah, it's working all right.
I've never got on with it very well, if I'm honest. I just tend to kind of load it up on my laptop. It's just called ads, isn't it?
Yeah, it's showing everything all right.
Yeah. The only thing I'd say is don't try and set up an ad on there.
No,
your ads up on the laptop. Yeah, it's generally okay to check your kind of cost per leads and everything like that throughout the day and how many leads you're getting.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just getting really engrossed in mine now. I was just checking it out. But yeah, I wouldn't I wouldn't kind of post an ad from there, just because I did try once upon a time and it just did not work.
Yeah, it's because I only found it today because I think I was on Page Manager and it said download this too, and I was like, oh, all right then.
Okay, I don't use Facebook.
Yeah, basically. And it's showing that females are doing better.
Yeah.
But the leads are costing a lot more than the males. Yeah. Which was odd.
That is really odd.
Yeah.
Slightly confused.
What it might be, though, to take into consideration is you need to look at your lead cost for the lifetime of the ad rather than just today. So if today you got a male lead and it was only like 60 pence into the ad spend,
Yeah.
then you got a female lead and it was £1.60 into the ad spend, then it will show that the male lead was cheaper just because it came at 60 pence in. Whereas if you look at the lifetime, you'll get an average of how much male and female have cost you in total.
Okay.
So if you on your ad, you should see that there's like a you get 1 day, 7 days, and lifetime.
Yeah.
If you click on lifetime and scroll down, you should see like a breakdown of how much it's cost per male and per female in average.
Yeah. Definitely a lot more expensive for females.
Well, there you go. Your ad seems to be performing well for men. So
Yeah.
next split test, you could look at kind of just dropping women altogether. That's really surprising, actually. All Tom's ads work better for women, and yours work better for men.
Well, I mean, all of my leads, I've got 8 leads now. 2 of them are men, 6 of them are women, but the cost is more for women.
Have you been running the women for longer?
The same time as the men.
It'd be if I'd like to have a look to see how that's working, but because if you've got more women, then
It should be less.
Should be far cheaper, especially if you've only got 2 men and 6.
Are they both running on the same budget?
Yeah.
That's very strange.
Yeah,
Although I
theoretically, if you're spending like £5 and you have 2 men join and 6 women, obviously breaking up the pie, it would be less for women. That's why I'm slightly concerned. Well, not concerned, but confused maybe.
How much has your ad spend been in total over both ad sets?
I'll see if I can find it. Where's that bit?
It would just be like on lifetime. It would just tell you how much you've spent.
If you can't find it, that's fine.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We can have a chat about it after.
There you go.
No, I can. Yeah, no, I can see that. That's what I was laughing at.
Oh, okay. But yeah, if ever any of you want kind of any ads advice or you want to jump on a call, me or Tom and mostly all the time. So we're happy to kind of jump on a call for you. It helps us as much as it helps you, kind of just looking at everyone else's ads, reviewing them, seeing what's working for other people, what's working for us. So yeah, if you want to kind of get in touch, let us know and we'll sort something out. You ready to say something, Jess? Looks like you are.
Yeah, I think I figured it out. All of the women leads are mainly coming from the men and women ad, not just the women ad. Yeah,
interesting.
That's why the women ad costs more, because I've only had 1 lead from that specific
There
ad.
you go then.
Adair, are you running ads? Yeah? How are they going?
They're going okay. Slower than I wanted, obviously. But I had some leads, some conversations.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I did want to ask, I'm at the point where I've been letting it go. I'm definitely spending more than I should on cost per lead. But originally I did 2 ads, okay? The same basic everything.
Mm-hmm.
But one in the US and one in the UK.
Okay.
But I accidentally put the one in the US on their manager page instead of my fan page.
Oh, okay.
But I let it run for a couple of days anyways, got 2 leads from it.
Yeah.
But then it started getting higher than $5 a lead, so I shut that one down, just let the one that was normal go in on my fan page.
Okay. How did you find targeting the US?
I got, sorry?
What? How did you find kind of targeting the US?
It's difficult to bring the numbers down. It's difficult to get into 15, 20 million, which Adam suggested.
Okay.
Range, maximum. But in the US, I think there's a lot of people, so it's like difficult to number it down and not have too broad of a span. But I wanted to ask, because I do want to like split test now, but you were just saying like she wanted to change age and maybe something else. But what about like location and changing interest? Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I do is, if you are kind of, I'd set up another ad with, say, for interests, 2 different kind of interests or different demographics, and then I'd split test from there in terms of like men, women, pictures, just because for instance, like, I don't know, if I took a picture of like this candle, it's a little frog, and I took a picture of like this cup, and I found an audience that really liked this cup, and it was women aged 24 to 35. They were interested in travel and working abroad. And then I like changed the interest to people that are doctors that have been on a train in the last month. They might not like this picture, and it might not be the same women aged 25 to 34. So what I do is I keep your gender and your age quite broad, in terms of kind of, we start at 21, 22 up to kind of 34 or 45. Mm-hmm. And keep that quite broad, do men and women, and then split test down. But don't try and use the same, like, don't try and use the same demographics you found on one ad on a different picture in a different interest, etc. Because it's like anything. You've got a cat, so if you saw a cat picture, you'd really like it. Jess doesn't have any animals, so if you try and target the same person and the same results that you found on the cat picture to a person that's like Jess isn't going to stop. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I'd kind of keep it quite broad when you're doing interest to start with, and then narrow it down.
That's it's kind of what I wanted to do, because I was playing around on audience insights, like in the Facebook manager thing. Mm-hmm. And I was playing on how to narrow it down, because that was my biggest struggle. And actually, I actually wrote you that day because I was trying to figure out how to narrow something down. And one whole day I spent trying to figure it out. But I played on that a little bit, and I think I have something that I want to try. So I was just wanted to make sure that changing interest or something is something that you would do, not just age or etc.
Yeah, definitely. It's essentially like sending your ad to a completely different place. So as I say, I change
all of them. I want to like kind of stay in the same direction, but try to make it more exact.
Yeah. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I mean, if you were to kind of like use the same kind of interest but add more in to kind of narrow it down more, again, I just kind of like open it back up in terms of age and gender, just because the more kind of demographics in terms of interest that you add, people like men might be more interested, and they might be between a certain age that you're not targeting anymore. So definitely when you're changing your interest, I'd just open back up that kind of age and gender category, and then it allows you to split test then again to kind of narrow that cost per lead.
Okay.
Make sense? Yeah. Okay. Joanne, nice to see you again. It's been a while. You are muted at the moment. Not sure if you want to speak.
Yeah, hello everyone.
How have you been?
I'm okay. It's just I realised that I need to get back to when I first sort of joined. Why did I join? What's it all about again? I've not really spoken. I mean, I've watched the masterminds, but when you haven't got the money, can't get the money, haven't got the funds, it's what to do in between. I know you are probably all affiliated and got what you need, and you're on your way. But it's that in between stage. I mean, I joined in January. so far I've managed to raise three grand.
Okay, that's great.
I'd like to pay it all off, so I haven't got that worry of finding the money to pay it off, and whatever I make will be mine at the end of the day, and I won't have that outgoings to pay for the trifecta, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Ollie, have you got any advice in terms of like the in-between stage?
Yeah, so I'm like just about to affiliate. Like I've just sent my forms to Ryan, but like I was in a similar position to you because I haven't been employed for about 8 years due to health conditions. So I've had to raise that money and then work out the best way to do it, and know that like even if I affiliate now, the likelihood of me being able to run an ad is low because I need to raise more money again. Otherwise, I'm going to end up with no money. So I think what I would say is like everyone talks about audience, everyone talks about ads, but I think people forget a little bit about audience as well. And if you can start to use your page and build your page up and things, then you can create a sort of more potentially organic base, so that even if you did sort of like if you like me, for example, you raise that money and affiliated, then you weren't able to run ads, you still are able to build an audience and begin to brand yourself. Because I think you have to look at it as a long-term game as well. I think some people maybe start up an online business and think, I want to get where I want to get in the next year. But for me, I'm not bothered if I get where everybody else is at in the next 5 years or 10 years, because the situation I'm in now means that I've been able to access something that means that in 10 years' time, I will probably be in a better position than if I went and tried to find sort of like the 9-to-5 employment, because who's going to employ somebody who's not been employed for the past 8 or 9 years? They're just not going to do it. So, and if you can build an audience and begin to brand yourself, then I think it's more sustainable long-term as well. So I think I've read somewhere that you do animation or something. Is that right?
Sorry, illustration, drawings.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've seen Sarah Jo. I think it's Sarah Jo, not Sarah Jo, but Sarah Jo Bitsilly in America, and the way she uses her, the way she uses both her like drawings and her music on her fan page, because that still draws people in, and it can be still used to tell a story and to brand you, and to there will be people out there who connect to that sort of thing. So I'd say, like, if you want to work on anything between now and then, while you're trying to work alongside, like, raising the initial capital, then branding yourself would be the best one. I think the other thing to say is, like, I haven't started up with a trifecta, but I have started up with a machine and a Newcon, and that still gives you, like, at least sort of like a starting. It's not the trifecta, but I can still work on, like, getting money together to get, say, the third product further down the line. So although you don't initially come in with the trifecta, you still effectively end up with a trifecta in the end.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I mean, I'm in the process of doing some workshops in the community, doing arts and crafts with people.
That sounds really cool. You should definitely take some pictures of those as well and post those, and how kind of connecting with the community helps you, and post that onto your fan page. For me personally, I use my kind of fan page as like an online diary almost. I literally just kind of like post whatever I'm feeling, or the one morning I saw like this blog that was basically about how to be like the perfect entrepreneur. And I kind of used that and twisted that around as like, I am definitely not the perfect online entrepreneur. It was on about like eating like fresh fruit and oats for breakfast, and going for a run and all this kind of jazz. And I was literally like, I pretty much just like tore myself apart, because I was like, I am not the perfect entrepreneur. I do not eat these oats and fruits for breakfast. And I had a picture of like my crunchy nut cereal on my bed and all kinds of random stuff. So I think definitely kind of like throwing yourself into your page, really discovering who you are and gaining that organic following on your page. It will help you as well when you come to kind of like when you're ready to go and you've got your ads up and running, because then Facebook will know the kind of audience that are interested in you and what you're doing. So definitely kind of throw yourself into that, I think, and just try and, like, for me, if ever I've had a period where I feel a little bit shitty, the best thing I can do is just stay connected with the community and just kind of pop someone a message, jump on a mastermind. Because as soon as you start, well, for me personally, as soon as I start to kind of disconnect and distance myself, it just makes everything worse and it makes coming back harder. So that's what I found when I first got up and running. So definitely kind of stick around. All this time and all this knowledge you're gaining is just going to absolutely like push you and make you excel as soon as you can kind of get affiliated anyway. You're not going to be thinking, oh, what ads can I run? What pictures are going to catch someone's attention? Because you're going to know. You've been to all these masterminds. You've heard everybody else's kind of success with ads. And you can be like, right, I know this one's going to work. And you'll have all of that knowledge there. So that's my best advice for you.
I think the other things, sorry, I was just going to say, like, if you put your artwork and stuff up, then, like, there's a lot of artists out there who struggle to make, like, ends meet, I guess, just from that artwork alone. But, like, an opportunity like this allows them to potentially have an online business and make some income, but not take up all their time. So they've still got time for that art as well. So there's a potential, like, audience that would connect with you, that would be interested in becoming part of this and becoming, because I know lots of artists that they just can't make enough, and so they end up doing all these different sort of like classes and never having any time for their own art at the end of that as well. So you can use this as a potential, like, because I suspect there would be people out there, particularly like if they're like writer-based artists, then they already have some of the skills that we need. Because they can just transfer writing skills to ad writing skills. It is slightly different, but they're still decent writers with a creative mind.
I agree, Ali. And before I jump into the slides, I just want to say congratulations, Ali. I know you've been kind of hanging around for a while, so glad that you're kind of getting up and running, and we're nearly there. So well done, mate.
Thank you.
Right then, guys, I'm going to jump into a screen share with you guys now. Today's a little bit kind of, it's not too kind of, oh, Kelly's here with us. It's not too kind of technical. It's just kind of reminding you guys, let me jump in, what kind of things you need to focus on in the next kind of, the future really. So today's week 4. If you've kind of joined us, not necessarily at week 1, you're more than welcome to kind of stick around till next week, and to stick around forever. Ollie's been with me for 2 months, so you guys are more than welcome to keep staying. But just want to go into kind of your business. So just for you guys that have kind of recently got up and running, if you haven't already seen Rob Brodigam's go live about the UConn renewal, make sure you go and check that out. Basically, your UConn is renewed every 4 months on auto shipment, but also the payment is taken every 4 months. So just be aware of when you first got affiliated and make a note in your diary of kind of the month that it will next be coming out. They don't tend to kind of do it to the day. So if you joined on like the 14th of January, it won't come out on, oh my God, how many months? 14th of May. It would just kind of like, for me anyway, I found that it's kind of come out during the month. So just be prepared that that money's there, that you've kind of, you know that it's being shipped to your house. And yeah, just kind of be aware of that. If you, as I say, if you haven't watched Rob Brodigam's UConn renewal video, go ahead and check it out. Also, you guys, I'm sure some of you have already started looking at the advanced Facebook ads training. If you haven't already, just take a look at that. Some of the information at this point is a little bit outdated. as you all know, we're all going through kind of this transition period. So all the videos in there will be updated very soon. If you guys are struggling to find some information that you really feel you need, or something you feel you're missing from the training, just have a look in the CEO official Facebook group, go into the files section and just scroll down all of the previous masterminds. You guys are obviously more than welcome to watch the UK or the USA masterminds, and just kind of really have a scroll down there. Anything that catches your eye or anything you think that you're missing, just watch a mastermind, and everything will be in there for you. The only ones that don't kind of like transfer really are kind of the US have done a mastermind recently on taxes and stuff like that. So unless you're from that kind of neck of the woods, kind of speak to, I think we've recently done one about budgeting, not necessarily in terms of like taxes and stuff. We advise that you speak to an accountant or kind of look into it yourself. But yeah, everything else will be transferable for you pretty much. So make sure that you're checking out both of those. You don't have to watch them all. I'm not expecting you guys to watch like 100 hours of masterminds, but just have a scroll through anything that jumps out to you, anything that kind of, you know, you need to work on, or anything that will help. Absolutely kind of have a look at those. I'm really sorry, I've just figured out something that looks really cool. Let me just see. Oh, okay. All right, I'm done. Right. Also, the Facebook ads policy. So as you can imagine, we're obviously using Facebook's platform to advertise. So they will have kind of rules and regulations in place. Generally, the ones you need to look out for are that your pictures don't have any alcohol in. Facebook are not happy with pictures that have alcohol, that there's no bums involved. We tried to run a picture of like people jumping off a cliff into the ocean, and the guys were wearing like trunks and the girl was wearing a bikini, and Facebook stopped us from running the ad because they didn't like the fact the girl's bum was in there. So no bums. And just make sure that your wording is kind of in line with anything that you can foresee wouldn't be allowed. So no swear words, no get rich quick, no I can't even think of words.
Anything to do with money.
Just pretty much anything to do with money. No cost webinar or no cost masterclass is working quite well within the ad copy, and you can use free. But I wouldn't kind of say like, I don't know, earn this much or earn a full-time salary. Just try and kind of be careful and tread carefully around what words you're using for ads. If you want to, there is, I don't even know how many pages long it is, probably about 50 pages long of a Facebook ads policy. So if you've got some free time, feel free. Split testing. So obviously we've had a little bit of a conversation anyway at the start of this call relating to split testing. There is there is a like diagram that Josh Stanier done for kind of split testing and when you should test your ad and when you should cut your ad off. What I'll do is, if you guys haven't seen that already and you want it, pop me a message after this and I'll get that sent over to you. But basically that's just kind of something that him and Mike put together on how to kind of see how well an ad's performing and literally what it says, when to cut it off and when to split test it. So if you haven't seen that, let me know and I can always send that over for you. Something for you guys that are all kind of like getting started, and even Joanne, when people message you, you can kind of, I know Jess, was it today or yesterday, you posted a screenshot in the group, one of the groups. When leads first start messaging you, it can be kind of like, I don't know, daunting, a little bit scary, because you're like, what do I actually say now? Like, they've messaged me, you wait and you wait and you wait for someone to message you, and then when they do, you're like, oh dear. So basically all that I'd say is just remember that once upon a time, to the person that is above you, you were a lead. So, like, I don't know, Ollie, to Ryan, you were a lead once. Joanne, to Nate, you were a lead. Neil, Jess, are you guys under Ali? Can't remember. Yeah, got some nods coming in. And Adair, you're under Kate. Oh, I'm doing so well at this. So just remember, kind of, you guys were leads once. So what would you want to hear? That's literally, just remember to be human, but also just remember that the end goal is, one, to establish a kind of relationship with them, establish some sort of connection that kind of, I don't know, you can kind of, I don't know, just kind of become friends almost. Like, if these guys are going to join your team, you're going to be working with them for a very long time. So just try and get to know them a little bit. And obviously the end goal is to get them to watch the masterclass. So the way that I'd structure a conversation is, firstly, just to kind of ask how they are, ask what they're up to. Oh, okay, cheers, Jess. I was literally like, what? What's going on? Jess has just asked for the diagram, so if anyone else wants it, let me know. But yeah, just kind of start the conversation with kind of like, how are you? What are you up to? Ask them what they're currently doing, if they're in work, if they're not, why they're not, do they like their job? Why do they or why don't they like their job? Why are they looking for an online opportunity? And just kind of try and like build that relationship with them. And then when it kind of feels kind of at a point where they want to watch the masterclass and you're ready to kind of pop them over to it, just give them the link. But that's my best advice in terms of speaking to leads. 1, remember to be human. 2, remember you were a lead once. And 3, create and build a relationship with them. Go for it.
No, because that happened to me the other day. Someone messaged me, or they commented on the ad saying they wanted more information.
Yeah.
And so I was like, ah! And in the group, they shared those conversation pointers.
Yeah.
So there was 2 of them that I chose one of those and kind of adapted it to my own way to say hi, how are you, et cetera, no? And she answered, she replied, she gave her little story, and then she was like, so, and I was waiting, actually, I was trying to decide what to say next. And she already wrote, so when are you going to give me more information? And so I started texting at her, writing at her, what am I supposed to say? Send her to the webinar? Tell her something? I didn't know. And I don't know, like, when someone's like persisting to have information, you still just always say, go to the webinar, it's the best way to learn, or do you actually give them some sort of information also?
It depends on the information they're looking for. I will generally kind of say to them, if they ask kind of what I do, I'll say I'm an online social media and affiliate marketer, and the best way for you to get all the information is to check out our masterclass. So I would like answer their question and kind of forward them to the masterclass, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But don't forget, kind of, if somebody's sending you like multiple messages, so you've asked them how they are, what they're up to, if they're working, and then their next message says, I just want information. Don't forget to still answer that top message.
Yeah.
And just kind of bring that back and just be like, oh, it's great. I'm glad you're having a nice day. Being a teacher must be really challenging. I can imagine that you work hard throughout your holidays as well. This is what I do. I'm an online social media and affiliate marketer. Here you go. Check out our masterclass, and let me know if you have any questions after. So just, again, just remember kind of, they're human, you're human. Answer their questions. And yeah, just try and still, because if you were to say, if they tell you how they are and what they do for work, then they say, just send me more information, or have you got any more information for me? If you just give them more information, you haven't built that relationship and that connection with them. And with marketing, people connect with people more than they do kind of an ad or anything else. So if you can get that kind of connection with them and really kind of form a bond, they'll be more likely to watch the masterclass, and they'll be more likely to kind of pop you a message with any questions, and in turn more likely to actually sign up. So yeah, I'd just say importantly, just still kind of make that connection, still respond to that first message even if they're sending multiple messages, and yeah, just answer their questions the best way you can. I never disclose any information about the products we use. I always say, my kind of thing to say is, unfortunately I can only disclose the products when you are a part of our community. However, we can say that they are kind of like health related, and that they can kind of really improve your health. They can help your family, they can help your friends. It's a really great product, but take a look at our masterclass and see how everything works.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Perfect.
Cool. Tom is going to be doing, you can't see him again, he's disappeared. Tom is going to be doing a mastermind maybe next week, maybe this week.
Yeah, so I'm going to aim to get it ready for this week, but I've had so many calls and stuff the past 2 days and so much just general crap going on that...
Excuses.
Yeah, I'm not making any moves, I'm just making excuses. I'm completely anti-CEO at the moment.
No, it's not. Yeah, so it'll either be kind of this week or next week, depending on how busy he is at work tomorrow and whether he can focus on CEO at work or whether he has to actually work at work. But yeah, so we will be doing a mastermind on speaking to leads in the very near future, so make sure that you guys kind of jump on that, and we'll be going into it in a lot more detail.
It will be interactive, so I'd say prep a list of like questions you get asked that stump you, or questions you had that stumped the person you were speaking to when you were a lead. So stuff that you asked that people couldn't answer, I'd probably get those down, and stuff that you get asked that stumps you and you don't know how to respond.
Basically, our vision for the mastermind is that you guys will come prepared with questions, and you'll essentially ask them to Tom or anyone else that has quite a good kind of lead to sign up. What's it called?
So it'd be like it's like more info to lead, like the conversion of asking more info to getting them to be a lead, because I've not to be a brag or anything, but I've got a like crazy conversion rate for people asking for info and then ending up on my lead sheet.
So that is on the cards. It is coming, but yeah, so essentially it will be quite interactive. You guys will ask Tom the questions and he'll pretty much answer them, how he would answer if you guys were a lead and you just asked him a question. You've got Ben messaging, yeah. Yeah, so that's coming, but until then, as I said previously, remember you're human, remember they're human, answer their questions and build a connection and a relationship with them.
The other thing was, one of the American guys, Adam, did a go live the other day in the group about how he was responding to people and the 3 options he gave them in case they wouldn't watch the webinar, didn't have time to watch the webinar. And I think I watched that. That was quite a useful thing, and it had been working quite well for him as well. So that might be worth watching.
What I'd say in response to that is there is no excuse for not having time to watch the webinar, because it's between an hour and 2 hours long, and what are you going to do in that time? Watch EastEnders, watch Neighbours, some other crap film that's just going to eat your life away. So if generally I'll give people like 2 or 3 chances, but then if they blow it on the 3rd one, they'll just get some blunt cricket bat approach of, look, you go to the webinar or that's it really. We're not talking anymore.
It does get to that point. You guys will you'll get to a point where you have somebody message you. Like I've had it where I've had somebody message me for like 3-4 weeks, and every time I say to them like, have you watched the masterclass, they'll say, oh, I haven't had time. And I'm like, within 4 weeks, you have definitely had an hour spare, guaranteed. So it will get to a point where you're just like, you can't physically explain. Yeah, and that's it, Joella. Joella. I always get confused with your names because it's different on Facebook. Yeah, I mean, you've got kids, so you catch up. That's absolutely great. But as well, people that want to watch the masterclass and are interested in getting an online business, the replay is up for a whole week. They can pause it and come back to it. Like, it does get to a point where you're kind of like, okay, you either watch it or you don't. I'm not going to keep trying to explain everything to you. But yeah, you guys will find your own balance with that. You will know if somebody's just making excuses and just can't be bothered. And that's, again, something that you'll learn along the way.
When was Tom going to do his talk on how to get leads from more info comments? Or I missed that. I was taking notes.
That's all right. It'll either be tomorrow, depending on how busy he is at work, whether he can get something together.
It shouldn't take me too long to put together, because the aim for the mastermind is that you guys would be the majority of the content. So there'll just be like a few basic slides from me, just basic.
Live. Cool. We are live on the internet. How's it going, everyone?
Where the hell is that playing from?
I have no idea.
Ryan is actually not here, is he? No. Where the hell did that play from?
Someone got it in the background.
You're a gremlin.
Oh my god, that confused the life out of me. Let me make sure it's not on mine. No, it's definitely not.
He's not there, is he?
God knows, guys. That was scary. I was like, whoa, Ryan, what are we doing? Thought you jumped on with us. Yeah, so short answer, Neil, it'll either be tomorrow or next Wednesday.
Okay, cool, thank you.
So my next kind of point for your business is understanding how it all works. So some of you might already get it. Some of you might kind of be a little bit confused at kind of how somebody clicks on your ad and then they get emails from Adam or Ryan or Nate. So again, there is a mastermind on, I think it's called 90%. 90% done for you. It's in the UK masterminds, but basically that just explains the funnel on a whole and how kind of your funnel owner, so the funnel owners within the UK are kind of me, Adam, Ryan, Nate and Richard. So that mastermind actually explains kind of what we do behind the scenes for you guys, why we get this really cool t-shirt, and how it all works. So make sure you guys check that out, just so that you kind of know what happens when somebody watches the masterclass but doesn't sign up. You'll understand that they'll get kind of a set of emails pretty much forever from your funnel owner, prompting them to watch it again, prompting them to sign up. You guys have probably got thousands of them in your junk box. I know mine go to my own junk box. But yeah, just again, try and kind of understand the business as best as you can and take that time to really understand it, just so that it will make the process easier when you are speaking to the leads and they're like, well, how is it actually all automated? And if you don't know how it's all automated, you have not got a response for them. So make sure you understand your business, make sure you understand how it all works. And again, if you guys want that mastermind, I can definitely kind of find a link for you and get that sent over. So again, pop me a message if you want that, and I'll be able to send it over to you. Leads and prospects, I've just pretty much covered that in leads above. I'm not sure why I've got it doubled, but there will be another mastermind on that in the near future. Neil wants the how it works. Let me make a note of it. And yeah, we'll be going through kind of the leads very, very soon. And Jess as well. Great. Right then. I forgot which button it is that moves me on. See, guys, you do not have to be technically advanced to do all of this jazz. There we go. Right then. So my first and best advice for you guys is, again, kind of going back to what Joanne said at the start of this. She lost her way for a little bit, and my best advice is to find your why. And when you found it, find it again, because as soon as you've been in this business for a period of time, you sometimes start to get a little bit foggy. You start to lose track of why you're actually doing it. So my advice is absolutely find your why and keep finding it, because as soon as you're making more steps and more moves within your online business, you'll be like, great, well, I've done that. What's next? So at the moment, if your goal is to hit 2A, if your goal is to hit 3A, if your goal is just to get affiliated, as soon as you're affiliated, kind of ask yourself again, why am I doing this? I had a period of time when I first left work, when I joined up to this online business and I got started with CEO, my drive and vision was to get out of work as quick as possible. And I had an 8-week notice period, and I didn't have my notice in. I had my notice in 3 or 4 weeks after joining. So it was like 3 months in total before I actually left work. So those 3 months, what was pushing me and what was driving me was, I'm leaving work. I want to get out of work. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it as best as I can and as quick as I can. And that was my drive. And then as soon as I left work, pretty much the whole of September last year, I pretty much zombie walked through it, because I had no idea what I was supposed to do with the rest of my life. Because I was just like, well, great, I want to travel, but I still don't have the means to travel just yet. I've still got to kind of put a bit more time and energy into my online business before I can kind of cut loose and take off around the world. So at that point, I'd left work and I was just kind of like daydreaming my way through every single day. So it wasn't for kind of another month or two that I actually sat down and I was like, right, okay, I'm going to create a vision board. I need to find my why again, and I need to figure out why I'm doing this. So yeah, my best advice to you guys is to find your why. And as soon as you're coming towards kind of achieving your goals, achieving that why, find your why again. What is it that's going to push and motivate you for the next kind of month, 3 months, year, whatever period of time it is? And just to kind of stay focused with that. 90-day goal setting. So again, this is something that will help you stay focused, stay driven. And it really helps me, just because then I know what I'm doing for the next kind of 90 days, the next kind of 3 months pretty much. It helps me kind of focus, put pen to paper and go, right, okay, that is what I'm going to do in the next 3 months. There is a mastermind from August 27th. It will be in the UK masterminds, I believe, that aren't created by me. I think they're created by Ryan Roberts. But underneath the file, you'll see who it's created by. Failing that, if you can't find that, Tom popped a post into the group about 30 days ago now, about kind of like a new 90-day goal setting sheet, and just kind of a process that we're currently using. So if you want to find that post, when you go into the official group, you can just type in the top at the search, Tom Chow, and the post should come up. But it's basically just kind of like, I think it's like a 3-page document to help you kind of set your goals and just to really kind of push you and drive you. It's something you can look at on your phone every day. It is on Google Drive.
I've made a version on Evernote and Google Drive. So
there's a Google Note and there's a Google Drive and an Evernote version. I've got those mixed up then. So whatever you guys feel more comfortable using, make sure you check that out. And as I say, it will just keep you focused, just keep you driven. For you as well, as soon as you're kind of like in this process of getting started and as you start growing within the community, and even kind of for Joanne, if you are at that point where you're really trying to like get the capital together, you're in an in-between stage, just keep learning, keep growing, keep reading, keep listening to podcasts, do everything that you can so that when you're ready to pop that ad up, you can absolutely fly with it. And again, it's something to kind of, for the rest of you guys, the internet is ever changing. You guys can imagine how much the internet's changed in the last like year, let alone 5 or 10 years. So running our businesses online, you are always going to have something to do. There's always going to be some new information somewhere that you need to learn. So just remember that and which is a great thing about this, you're never going to get bored. You're never going to kind of get to a point where it's just stagnant because you're like, oh, what am I supposed to do now? Because as I say, it's ever changing. So you guys have got that kind of drive, that momentum to keep learning. Pressing the wrong buttons again. And just finally our Q&A. I know that we've done kind of a Q&A at the start, which I think actually worked really well. So thank you guys for that. These kind of notes on here are just, have you got any questions over the past 4 weeks? Anything that's kind of sprung to your mind, anything that, I don't know, you're not quite sure on or wasn't clear, feel free to pop me a message or ask now if you're comfortable doing so, and I'll go through anything with you. As I said at the start, if you joined me kind of at week 2, week 3, you didn't catch week 1, week 2, or you've just joined today, feel free to stick around for the next round. Starting next week. And I think all of you guys, apart from Joanne, I think Joanne joined me in the first month as well though, so you've got a little snippets here and there, I think, you, Joanne, but I think all of you guys have pretty much gone start to finish with me this time, so thank you. And if you guys ever need anything, you can just pop me a message anyway. I'm going to jump out of this, but also I have a little challenge for you guys. If you have kind of done this program start to finish and you've got any kind of value from it, or you found it really easy to kind of come out and talk, or you've just enjoyed it, if you guys could, it might be a bit of an ask for some of you, but if you guys could leave a go live in the 30-day fast track group, just kind of explaining what you've found beneficial from this group, how it's helped you, and any advice you have for anyone else that's joining the group as well. That would be really, really great if you guys can do that. I'd appreciate it very much. But for now, any more questions?
Has anyone got any podcast tips or anything I can perhaps listen to?
Podcast tips, like which ones to listen to?
Listen to, yeah, because I've got sort of a massive list of books I've either got on their way to me or in my room or need to order. But podcasts, I've not actually got anything yet. Just wondered if anyone's got any good ones to share.
Perpetual Traffic. Perpetual Traffic,
Tom saying?
It's hosted by guys that have like $5,000 budgets every day for ads. And they basically just tell you how they got to that point. But they also show you that they also run like ads for like £1.50 a day and stuff as well. So they give you a bit of everything. And just the content in general, from what I've listened to for the past couple of days, because I only just started listening to it, is actually really good.
Okay, great, thank you. I'll look at that one.
I have a few for you.
No, she doesn't have a few. She has an entire library.
Yeah, I do. It's entirely up to you. I can screenshot it or just literally sign them to you. Let me just throw a few names.
How long is this list?
Right, so there's Tony Robbins. He has 3 different ones.
Yeah.
Obviously, kind of the usual. There's Gary Vee. There's also the Tai Lopez Show. So Tai is TAI Lopez. Tai Lopez. Sound like a cheerleader for him. Tai. Also, if you guys haven't already read The 4-Hour Work Week, that's written by Tim Ferriss. So he has a podcast as well, The Tim Ferriss Show. I like to mix it up a little bit, listen to some TED Talks. TED Talks have podcasts as well. And I also quite like, I know some of the guys listen to this, but I'm not sure whether that pink one with the two girls saying Being Boss and Build Your Tribe. They're quite feminine, but they're still good. If you guys want to listen to a few, see how you feel. And again, you don't ever feel like you have to listen to every single podcast ever created. Just have a scroll down kind of their playlist, see what titles stand out to you, and pick up those ones and listen to those ones. Okay. Yeah, just don't, because at first when I first listened to podcasts, which one was it? The Art of Paid Traffic. So that's that one just there. This one's really good, but I felt like I had to listen to all of them when I first started listening to podcasts. So just kind of have a scroll through, see what works for you, and go from there. Don't listen to every single one like I attempted to.
Thank you.
That's all right.
There's also Impact Theory by Tom. I don't know how you pronounce his last name, begins with B. That's like, I guess that's a bit more like he tends to interview other sort of entrepreneurs and stuff. It might be a bit more like self-development than business focused. But I'm pretty sure he does a podcast. He also has a YouTube channel. I know the 3 Becoming Better guys, Josh, Steve, and Josh, they like him quite a bit, and I've watched a bit of his stuff, and I think his stuff's just really good as well.
Cheers.
Also, if you guys are or aren't meditating at the moment, there is, oh my God, what are they called now? Give me a moment. It's Abraham Hicks. Do you guys listen to those at the moment? They're on YouTube, Abraham Hicks Meditations, and they're all kind of related around like the law of attraction. It's actually Laurie that told me about them, but they are really, really good meditations if you want to check that out. So it's literally Abraham Hicks. If you type that into YouTube, you'll get a ton come up. And again, they're all titled, so anything that, like, I don't know, if you wake up feeling a bit shitty and you need some like self-affirmations or encouragement, make sure you click on those ones. There's all kinds of ones on there, so just pick the ones that you're feeling in the moment and that really relate to you.
Great, thanks, guys.
That's all right. That's the only thing when you ask a question in this community, you ask for like one book and you get like 70. You're like, oh.
I've got a lot of listening to this.
Any other questions at all, guys? I got a new screensaver today. That's my win. I don't know if you guys can see it. I created it on Font Candy. It's like the universe, and then inside it says, "You are amazing. Remember that." That's my win. Dun dun dun. If you go, oh, what's this? It's a unicorn. That's definitely not what you intended to show me, but it's definitely what I saw.
I bought this the day before my first go live.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I was searching for a selfie stick, and I saw this and I this also. So
I can see exactly why you probably didn't end up purchasing a selfie stick. So
it's my reminder for dreams. No, like But I was gonna say my win. My dad just sent me this. My dad just sent me this photo from my home in Ohio. It's my first Enagic box arriving.
Ooh.
With a money sign.
You're gonna get home and they're gonna have used it like for ages, and you'll be like, no.
Yeah, I know.
When are you heading back over to the US? Are you?
Not until Christmas time.
Okay. They're definitely using it before you then.
I know. I want to tell them to go ahead, because also if they use it and they love it, like they're out of the story. So if they love it, it must, they also will give me more encouragement. No, like
yeah, definitely.
I was thinking about sending it to my mom and having her use it, because she'll sell like to everyone around.
Mums have that gift, don't they? They just speak to everyone. My mum comes home and she's like, oh, I've been speaking to somebody at work that wants to speak to you. And I'm like, the hell?
It's true.
Yeah.
It's a bummer that I don't get to use it immediately, but it's the best situation for me at the moment. So
yeah. You'll get your time. You'll get your chance to use it. At least be nice and broken in for you. They'll have figured it all out, set it all up. You don't have to deal with all that.
Well, I told him, like, you can touch it, you can use it if you're going to take care of it, because it's worth a lot of freaking money.
Yeah, when I first got mine, I ended up buying like a whole new tap and everything for my kitchen, because I just could not fit it onto the tap that I had. So I literally I went out and I brought new like taps and all kinds of stuff, and I like became a plumber overnight. My mum was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I need to use this."
I don't blame you. I've got a cupboard being built for mine.
Oh, have you?
It's going to be like the Enagic cupboard, and it's going to have its own tap plumbed into it, and I don't want anyone touching it. I've got housemates, so
okay, that's
I'm
pretty
a bit precious about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's worth a lot of money, so you are going to be precious about it. I thought the other day that someone had like broke the screen on my K8, but it turns out we just never removed the film cover from it. But it was like all wrinkly, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's broken." But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Right then, guys, I'll send over Jess the split testing, and Jess and Neil the how it works mastermind. Does anyone else want me to send them anything that I've mentioned today? Just whilst it's on my mind. No? That's cool. Any questions, let me know. And if you guys can kind of do that go live, I would really, really appreciate it. Right, ladies and gents, I'll let you go. It's been great kind of having you on. Again, if you want to continue with me next week, you're more than welcome. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.